I look like I go to Starbucks, I drink lattes, and I just hang out there all day on my laptop. This next wig actually is from Sensational. It's a Cloud 9 Swiss lace wig, and it is the Goddess Locs. And this has 4x4 parting, and it also is hand tied and ultra soft Swiss, and has a natural hairline. So let's get into this wig. Okay, so this is a very interesting wig. There's a stock card, and inside you have two combs. You actually have three combs altogether, two in the side and one in the back. And it says that it has a natural hairline, but I don't know if it's actually quite natural, as I would hope it would be. Now, this is very interesting. It has like a cap that's the same color as the locks, and it's very different. And it also has adjustable straps. All right, so let's put it on. Oh my God, what am I going to do with this? As you can see, I was quite surprised. I didn't know how I was going to approach this unit and how I was going to take the fullness out of it. So what I did decide to do was I first wanted to just kind of make the locks look a little bit more real. As you can see, there's a lot of space in between those locks toward the back, but there's a load, like a gang of locks in the front. So I decided to start cutting them out. And it was really kind of hard to determine where I wanted to start, but I knew that I needed to attack the top of this unit. Now I must have cut maybe about, I would say close to 50 locks out, 30 to 50 locks. I wasn't counting, I lost count after 10. And I just started to kind of get into a trance and try to get as much as I could. It did take a long time to manipulate this wig, but I think it was definitely worth it. So as you can see, I'm trying to see like where I want to start, because I didn't want to mess it up. And you have to be very careful cutting this, if you do decide to purchase this unit, because I almost made a mistake and cut like a couple locks at a time, and that wouldn't have been good at all. And try to get as close as you can to the cap, um, and then work your way from there. And you want to make sure that you have very sharp scissors, because the locks are um, pretty wound tight. Now, this wig surprisingly was not heavy at all. The hair was very light. I thought it would be itchy, and it wasn't itchy at all. So I was pleasantly surprised. So as you can see, I'm just going in different sections of the unit to kind of not like take away from just one part of the unit, because they're not really in a pattern. So now what I'm doing is, as you know, when people have locks, their locks are normally not even. So I said, let me just kind of take the prettiness from it. It just looked too perfect, like something that should be on a TV show, like Game of Thrones or something like that. And I just said, no, that's just not the way normal locks are. So I started to taper them off and make some of them shorter than the other. So it was no pattern, just kind of like going randomly around the unit to just snip those edges. because it's just too perfect. Okay, so I'm combing it and I'm just kind of making it like kind of like weather beaten, I guess, or just looking like locks, you know. Normally when you see people with that hair texture and they have locks, it looks a little bit more rough than what the how it came in the package. And I'm taking my I think it's like a razor comb, and I'm just kind of like just messing it up still, just really making it more raggedy. Okay, so I cut the lace and I'm putting it back on, and it's still thick. So I'm doing the baby hairs. The baby hairs are the same color as the unit. You know, it was really tough because as you can see on the left side, I have my edges out. I'm actually right now rocking like a buzz cut on the sides, but it was like I couldn't do anything, and it was like the roots of the unit was not like matching my edges. So I tried my best to blend it in with the baby hairs, but I just felt like something wasn't right still. You know, when you say a natural hairline, it has to be like it has to be more natural than what this was. All right, so I have my I'm putting, as you can see, this freeze spray there, trying to lay that down. It was rather difficult because the cap was actually small. I have, it's not big head friendly, but you can make it work. I just finished eating. So you see the ear tabs, they don't really come down toward the ear. So I'm not too sure of what was going on. It gave you abundance of certain things, but then other things just wasn't there. So it does need some manipulation, this unit. But the good thing about that is that the bad thing about it is that it does need manipulation, but it also is a plus because you can manipulate it. So I'm going to dry the edges, I mean the freeze spray. I just love using that propeller. Oh my gosh. I don't have to pull out a blow dryer. It's so easy. All right, so you see, I'm looking at that part and it's really bothering me. So I'm like, okay, let me, if I can push it back. So what I did was I got my Naked palette. I think it's a smoky palette, smoky eye palette or something, and my Fit powder. And I'm like, okay, what can I do with this? So what I did was I kind of tried to make the roots a little bit of ombre, like a darker root, but not bring the dark root up too high. So I just did it around the edges. Um, I probably shouldn't have gone so far on the lace, but I was just trying to blend everything in the best that I could. Um, from far away, it looks great. Just put it like that. So I'm going in between the locks and I'm just using a black eyeshadow. You can use any palette that you have with a nice pigmented black shadow, but not too dark. And you want to be careful just to stay at the roots and don't go up on the lock. So now you see, like on the side where my edges are, it kind of looks a little better. It blends a little better. Okay, so I'm getting as far as I can. And I would say with this unit, um, I probably, I would probably wear it down. But if you see at the end, I do style it in different ways. There's some photos at the end. So I'm like, okay, let me just get back here and a little bit over there, a little tiny bit. Okay. I'm starting to feel more comfortable with it. As you can see, there are big gaps in the back between the locks. So you definitely want to wear this unit like kind of tied toward the back. What I would suggest too, and I didn't have time to do it, I would stitch it with like white thread and stitch certain pieces down in the back um, so that it won't show that cap. All right, so moving on. Okay, I'm kind of obsessed with it. I just want to make sure it looks good. Now I noticed that there were some little pieces of thread that would come out from the lock, and you just have to kind of like push it back in. Okay, I'm putting like little gold cuffs in the links. I mean, in the links, in the locks, and it actually looks really nice. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up. So thanks so much for watching and supporting my channel, and I'll see you in my next review. And don't forget to subscribe.